Now to the start of congestion pricing. The MTA says the first in the nation toll kicked off today with no major issues or glitches. This is ahead of tomorrow's busy commute, but not without frustration for most drivers. MTA officials expect the toll to lead to 80,000 fewer vehicles entering the congestion relief zone, which is below 60th Street in Manhattan. This will be in effect every day, and we're going to break down all the rules and exemptions before you hit the road tomorrow morning. Our team coverage begins with Derick, who is near the start of the congestion zone.
They're just charging for everything nowadays.
Those that don't mind paying that, it's not going to be impacted. It's those that are either maybe less fortunate that are it's gonna hurt the most.
The first in the nation tolling program got underway Sunday with its first big test ahead of the Monday morning rush. Signage up at 62nd Street and 5th Avenue showing drivers it's their last turn before the toll, which runs from 60th Street to the southern tip of Manhattan. Most drivers passing under these gantries will get charged a once per day toll of $9 at peak hours between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. weekdays and from 9 to 9 on weekends. It's $2.25 overnight. Drivers taking the Holland or Lincoln tunnels will get a $3 rebate at peak hours only. Trucks will pay more. The largest will shell out $21.60 at peak.
There's a huge discount on the overnight, and it's especially designed to incentivize trucks who take up so much space and create so much traffic to do more of their deliveries overnight.
The MTA says the tolls are designed to ease the gridlock, get buses moving faster, and change driver behavior.
It's going to definitely encourage people to go on public transit, myself included.
Traffic has just got worse and worse over the last several years, right? So it's not fun driving in the city, but if you have to, you have to. But if you don't, take the subway.
On Sunday, union reps for city firefighters were the first out of the gate, blasting the MTA on day one of congestion pricing. Upset firefighters who transport equipment in their personal cars were not exempted.
Taxing New Yorkers to use their streets. We have a very unique situation where our members are regularly tasked with using their own personal vehicles to go from firehouse to firehouse during the tour for the betterment of New York City. And everyone at the same time said it's somebody else's problem, somebody else's fault.
MTA CEO Jano Lieber responded at this press conference Sunday at Grand Central.
If your employer is requiring you to drive instead of take mass transit and requiring to use the car to move in during your job, that's a legitimate question to raise with your employer.
And that was Derick reporting. Now, some people say they have no choice but to drive into the congestion zone, and others say they just don't feel safe taking public transportation. Christy Kalishian continues our coverage from the Upper East Side.
And so it begins, the first day of congestion pricing.
I just paid the toll.
What do you think of it?
I don't like it.
Why don't you like it? What do you
I mean, the New Yorkers are paying too much money already.
Some people coming into the city for work early Sunday morning say they just can't avoid driving, even if they have to pay $2.25 for the off-peak toll. It's yet another cost that just adds up. This driver told us in Spanish,
Muy mal porque yo vengo a trabajar.
I'm going to work. Imagine, gas, toll. Sure, it's very bad. And it's not only drivers who are coming in from outside of the city who are impacted by this. It's neighbors who live just a few blocks away from these congestion relief zones.
I live on 60th Street, and originally we thought that the toll was going to be below 60th Street. Now it's below 61st. I dropped my wife off at the apartment on 60th Street, and I got to pay $9 extra to do that.
Carmen Bonilla from the Bronx took a taxi Sunday morning, but managed to avoid the extra fee.
Affects me a great deal. I mean, I just got out of a taxi, and I'm getting off on 61st Street, so that way I don't have to be charged the congestive pricing, or also him. And I told him just to go ahead and turn and go down the other street so that way he wouldn't have to be charged.
Did he do it?
Yes, he did.
Bonilla says for some people, driving gives them peace of mind, even if it comes at a financial cost.
They don't want to take the train. They don't want to be on the train with the crowds and the craziness that are happening underground with, some crimes that are going on. People are scared, so they rather just drive in.
These commuters saying the congestion relief zone provides anything but relief. On the Upper East Side, Christy Kalishian, CBS News, New York.
And drivers who use Easy Pass will pay less than drivers who use toll by plate. The $9 cost is roughly $13.50 if you pay by mail. And there are credits for Easy Pass drivers who take the Holland, the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, and the Lincoln or Queens Midtown tunnels during peak hours. It is also not too late to apply for discounts and exemptions through the Easy Pass website. Emergency vehicles, commuter buses, and school buses are all exempt. Tour and charter buses are not. Residents living in the congestion zone with a household income of less than $60,000 may qualify for a tax credit. A 50% discount is available for drivers enrolled in the low-income discount plan. However, that discount doesn't kick in until after the first 10 trips of every month. There are also medical exemptions for those who cannot use mass transit. And as congestion pricing begins, so does higher tolls at our bridges and tunnels. This impacts the Lincoln and Holland tunnels, the George Washington, Bayonne, and Goethals bridges, and the Outer Bridge crossing. Drivers will now have to pay $16.06 during peak hours. That is an increase of 68 cents. The Port Authority says the price hike accounts for inflation and addresses the $3 billion in losses during the pandemic. And stay with CBS New York as we continue to follow the impacts of congestion pricing. Look for live team coverage tomorrow when that morning rush gets underway. We will be on a half hour earlier beginning at 4 a.m. to help you navigate congestion pricing.